countries. Choosing the right course will also help you choose the right countries. That are you choosing a course which is giving you specialized skills? Do not target a country that just takes your application, but choose a country that welcomes your ambition. Many times they even think you're a loan karlenge, but even getting a loan is a process. You need to have the capability or the ability to get that kind of a loan or the eligibility.
Yes.
First country that everybody was targeting as the most PR friendly country, and every second student in India wanted to go to Canada because of their free immigration policies. And suddenly they put a clamp down to it, right? And now it's become the last choice for students.
If we know the right country, then we can now move to the part about that dream university.
A country like UK has 150 plus universities, a country like US has 1,000 plus universities. They tend to apply all over the place, right? But I think narrowing down your university choice is very important. So why only choose universities on rankings, right? So the common mistake that most students make is that they will evaluate only 4 to 5 factors. So today, if you are the only international student and there are 50 domestic students, you're not going to survive. Studying in a foreign country is not only about academics. It's also about the time you spend outside of your classroom. They're stepping out of their country for the first time. So they can go through a lot of cultural shocks.
Yes.
Right? So do they have the right infrastructure and the support system to support international students? Are their faculty tuned to handle international students?
We live in a time of information explosion and too many choices. Gen Z and Gen Alpha are truly best. They get to choose the most beautiful places in the world where they wish to study. They could study in the US, they could study in Australia, they could study in the UK or even Germany for that matter. But in this plethora of choices, whether it's the best universities, best places, and the most mind-blowing courses, how do you choose what is right for you? In this episode of The Big Leap, we have Chetan Jain, the founder and managing director of Study Smart, who's going to help you shortlist and make that right choice. Welcome back to The Big Leap, Chetan.
Thank you, Apoorva. I look forward to this one because this one is very close to my heart.
Really? Okay, so let's just dive straight in. First of all, I want to know, what is shortlisting?
So shortlisting is making the right choices, right? It's taking up a lot of research and choosing what exactly you want to do. So shortlisting does not restrict only to a country or only to a university or only a course. It's a combination of all three. So today when a student is coming to us for counseling, the first thing we'll advise them is narrow down on the course you want to do. So shortlist the courses from the 300 plus courses that are available. Then narrow down on the country you want to go for, because again, there are 15 to 20 countries a student can target. And each country will again offer 100 plus universities. Right? Then narrow down on the universities. So the entire process of breaking it down to your final choice is what I would say is called shortlisting.
Okay. And why is shortlisting important?
So, as per a recent article I was reading and some research taken up by NAFSA, they say 70% of students regret their choices because they did not have enough insight before narrowing down on their choices.
Okay.
Right, and that is where the importance of taking the right research comes up in order to take the right decisions. Whether it's about the country, university, course. In all cases, you need to take up enough research. And the common mistake that most students do is that they would only research online.
Yes.
And again, the credibility of information available online is not always true, right? We're living in a world where social media is bombarded with all sorts of information. You don't know what the source of that information is. They also make the mistake of only relying on the university websites for research. Again, no university is going to talk badly about themselves on their website, right? So the research that the students take up in the process of shortlisting all three things, the course, the country, and the university, needs to go a step beyond the online research. And that is where a role of counselors come in. So they can approach companies like Study Smart, who have years of experience of placing students across the globe, have taken up extensive research, extensively traveled, attended seminars, attended conferences, university events, and also gathered a lot of feedback from 6,000 plus students that have been placed.
Yes.
Right? So they are in a position to give insight information which may not be publicly available. Moreover, students are blessed to have platforms like LinkedIn where they can connect with alumni from various universities, various countries, to see and research on what the ground realities are.
Yes.
Peer-to-peer feedback, I believe, is far more valuable these days. So today, if you're speaking to other students who have been there, done that, you will be in a better position to take the right decisions. Beyond that, go out there, attend events, meet universities. There are various university events that happen. There are various webinars that happen. So the students need to take up a substantial amount of research before they actually finally decide what they want to do.
And what about, we have one cousin who's now in the US and they did great. What about that? Does that kind of play into this shortlisting process?
So one common mistake that a lot of students make is देखा देखी, right? इंडिया में बोलते हैं ना भेड़ चाल होता है कि एक का बिजनेस चल गया, सेम बिजनेस करते हैं, दूसरे का भी चल जाएगा. And that's the approach that typically students have. If they have this one cousin or one friend or somebody from their family, US चले गया, US में successful हो गया, हम भी US जाएंगे. But are you looking at what the current situation in the US is versus what it was 10 years ago? Right. Your cousin could have gone there 10 years ago, the market would have been different, the dynamics would have been different, the opportunities would have been different, the visa regulations would have been different, right? So what you want to do is you want to measure today's circumstances, measure what's happening around the globe today, and there are various factors that you need to look at, which I would love to talk in depth as well.
Sure. Let's get into it more. Chetan, according to you, what should be the step one for shortlisting?
Step one, Apoorva, would be to choose the right course, right? Because depending on what you want to do for your career and depending on what course will be aligned to that career choice, the country, the university can then be decided as step two and step three. So I think selecting the right course, the right program is step one for shortlisting.
And I think even for students who want to study in India, course selection will be very crucial. So what are the things that they should think of, like the duration or the end goal? What are the things that should matter in that checklist for understanding the right course?
Let me break it down for you. So firstly, selecting the right country will be decided by the course because certain courses will have better scope in certain countries. So if I take India as example, right, if you're doing a bachelor's of psychology, there's limited scope in India right now, right? We're not a society that's very open to go and take counseling and take help for mental wellness, right? Whereas the same course in a country like UK, US, which are developed countries, will have better scope. So choosing the right course will also help you choose the right country. So whether you're looking to study in India or whether you're looking to study abroad, selecting the right course is very important.
Right.
What you want to check is how the course is aligned to your career objective, right? I'll give you an example. A student does a bachelor's of computer science and now for a master's want to go for an MBA.
Okay.
I'm like, that's probably not the right approach because today if you want to become an IT specialist, you want to grow within the IT domain, you're better off maybe taking a master's of data science, a master's of artificial intelligence, something that is more aligned towards your career goals and something that's going to help you get a job in this competitive world, right? So what we are seeing as a trend also is that more and more employers now want someone who's really good at one thing than someone who's okay at multiple things. So specialized skills are more in demand. Hence, course selection is becoming even more important. That are you choosing a course which is giving you specialized skills and then helping you get to that job or the employability or increase your employability prospects.
Right. And what about the duration of the course? Does that play a role?
Definitely, the duration also plays an important role. Both on the financial front, because the longer the program, the more expensive it's going to be. And at the same time, a lot of students don't have the objective of studying for a longer duration. They maybe want to get into the job market sooner.
Right.
Also depends on the subject, right? So today, if you're going for an engineering program, you're better off going for a 4-year engineering course than a 3-year engineering course, right? Whereas if you're going for something like a bachelor's of business, then maybe a 3-year course is enough. You don't need to do a 4-year program. So it depends on what subject you're selecting. Accordingly, you decide what duration you want to take up.
Right.
Even at a master's level, there are 2-year courses, there are 1-year courses. Again, check what is your objective. You want to study for a year and get into the job market? Do you want to study for 2 years? Then you want to maybe start your own business. So depending on the student's objective, the course duration should be looked at as well.
Right.
And also what country you're targeting. So today if I'm targeting say a master's in the US, then it's important that my undergrad is 4 years.
Right.
Because if my undergrad is not 4 years, I will not get an admission in good universities in the US for my master's.
Right.
Similarly, if I'm targeting UK for my master's, where it's a 1-year master's, a 3-year bachelor's is absolutely fine. So there are multiple factors that will define the duration, but yeah, looking at the duration is also important.
And what about the accreditation of the course?
Right. So when a student is selecting a particular program, he should check what kind of professional accreditations does the course carry, right? Does it have any kind of certifications? Does it have any kind of professional accreditations? So there are professional bodies that are accrediting courses, and the courses are then more making the student more job ready if they have these professional accreditations.
Yes.
Let me give you an example. So today, if there's a student who wants to say do a Masters of Finance, and say if he wants to do a Master of Finance with something more focused on the investment side, he's better off going for a CFA accredited course, because CFA is now the gold standard for financial analyst.
Yes.
So if he goes for a CFA accredited course, it'll help him in two ways. A, his job chances will definitely improve because he's going for an accredited program.
Yeah.
Secondly, he will also get exemptions on certain papers of the CFA. So he can clear the CFA level 1 much more easily. Similarly, if he wants to get into accounting, for example, then he can look at ACCA accreditations or CIMA accreditations. So most professional courses would carry some form of an accreditation, and that's something the student should definitely look at.
Okay. And what about some red flags that, avoid this when choosing your courses?
I think they should not look at taking too many generic courses, right? I've seen a lot of students wanting to do management courses immediately after their bachelor's. I personally believe that, again, this is my personal opinion, that they should take up more skill-oriented courses or more specialized courses. So let me give you an example. If a student who has done a BBA, his natural choice will be to go for an MBA,
Yes.
right? But with an MBA, you're a master of nothing. You're learning a little bit of everything. But versus that, what if you take up a master's in digital marketing? So not just marketing, but digital marketing, which is super specialized.
Right.
A, it'll give you specific skills. B, it's going to open up the job market a lot more for you. And you're kind of creating a niche for yourself, right? Yes, you have the rest of your life after 3 years, 4 years of working, then take up an executive MBA program to gain those important management skills. But for a fresher, more than management skills, I think core skills and core expertise are very, very important. So choosing the right specialization also plays a very important role. And you also want to see how the specialization you're selecting, again, is it giving you the right career outcomes? So a lot of students are not aware कि MBA करने के बाद मैं what kind of jobs will I get?
Yes.
They don't even explore on what kind of jobs you're going to get. So today when you're applying for any university, or if you're going to the university course page, they will have information on what are the student outcomes, what kind of career choices you will be able to make.
Right.
There will be student profiles who have done that program. You can see what kind of jobs have they landed up getting, right? So before you choose a course, see if it's aligned with your career, and then try and measure the career outcomes and choose the right specialization as per the career outcomes that you want for yourself.
Right. I think this is super helpful. I think my next natural question would be, what's the step 2 in shortlisting?
So step 2 is to choose the right country, Apoorva.
And why is it important to choose the right country? I mean, all options seems good.
I always tell my student one little bit of gyan that I give them is that do not target a country that just takes your application, but choose a country that welcomes your ambition, right?
Okay.
So there are a lot of factors that a student needs to look at while choosing a country, and hence choosing the right country also plays a very, very important role. We spoke a little about this, but I'll kind of elaborate more on this. Is
Yes.
Firstly, the industry presence that the country has as per the course you want to do, right? So to give you another example, Ireland is one of the most preferred choices for students who want to study IT courses, because they're the second largest software exporter in the world.
Okay.
The IT industry is the third largest contributor to the GDP. So when a student goes there for an IT program, the education institutes are well equipped to manage IT students because they have that kind of industry presence there.
Yes.
Secondly, the job scope for the student, the career opportunity they'll have after they finish the course will be much better because it's a mainstream industry there, right? Now, if a student was to go for hospitality in Ireland, very unlikely that he will have a lot of success because it's not a preferred choice for tourists. Student, if he wants to go for hospitality, maybe in Australia is a better choice, maybe a New Zealand is a better choice, a Switzerland is a better choice, right? So choosing a country that is mapping to your career ambitions and mapping to the course you want to do and what industry presence that country has is also very important.
Okay. So I think one aspect is understanding the industry you want to ultimately work for.
Correct.
What about the budget?
Budget is also very important because it varies, right? There are options starting from as low as 10 lakhs an annum going up to even 60 lakhs an annum.
Okay.
So it's a wide range of budget. So a lot of times students tend to overcome it. They tend to not think about the budget. They're over ambitious. Sometimes they don't even speak to their parents that is this a comfortable budget.
Right.
Many a times they even think you're a loan kar lenge, but even getting a loan is a process. You need to have the capability or the ability to get that kind of a loan or the eligibility.
Yes.
Right. So choosing the right country as per your budget is very important. To give you a little idea, there are good cost-effective options available like Canada, New Zealand, Ireland, which are in that range of 10 to 15 lakhs. Countries like UK would be between 15 to 25 lakhs. US remains the most expensive, starting from 20 lakhs going up to even 50 lakhs per annum.
Okay.
All right. So depending on what budget suits you, and then what your again objectives are, choosing the right country, budget will play a very important role.
Okay. From there, okay, we understood that we have an X amount of budget that student has spoken to their parents. And now, what's the next thing? Does the geopolitics play any role in any of this?
I think that's the first factor that a student needs to look at. What is the current immigration policy of that country? Are they a welcoming country towards migrants, or are they having a very anti-migrant kind of a situation right now?
Right.
And it changes very quickly as well. The recent debacle that happened in Canada. Canada was the first country that everybody was targeting as the most PR-friendly country, and every second student in India wanted to go to Canada because of their free immigration policies. And suddenly they put a clamp down to it, right? And now it's become the last choice for students. So looking at the current situation, but also kind of having a little bit of an insight of what their immigration policy for the next few years is going to be. What kind of post-study work visa are they giving you? So once you finish your course, are you getting a default work permit to work in that country or not? So today, for example, US gives a 3-year work permit, Australia gives a 3-year work permit, UK gives a 2-year work permit, Ireland gives a 2-year work permit. So you need to have the ability to get some kind of a work permit. If there's no work permit to work there, and you have to depend on an employer to sponsor you, that's very unlikely. Like Singapore, for example, it's a popular destination to study, but any student who wants to work in Singapore will not look at Singapore as his first choice,
Right.
because Singapore is not giving any work visa after you finish your course. You have to get an employer to sponsor you. Now, why will an employer sponsor a fresher who's just out of college?
Right.
Very, very unlikely. So looking at the overall immigration policy and what kind of long-term policies they have, what are the policies going to be for the next 4 to 5 years, that should be looked at by a student for sure.
Okay. And what about the country's culture?
Again, that plays a very important role. So multiple factors when you talk about culture. There are religious sentiments. Weather plays an important role,
Yes.
right? Availability of Indian food, right? I mean, if you're going to a place where Indian food is not easily available, students think, sochte ki ho jayega. No, you have to live on a long-term basis there, and your availability of Indian food and presence of Indian community will also matter. So yes, the culture, the exposure levels play a very important role. So today, if a student wants a very kind of a social life where he wants to experience things, he wants to go for concerts and sporting events, then maybe UK, US and European countries are better. If the student and the parent are very conscious about safety, for example, then maybe Dubai is a better choice, right? So also the distance from home. For a lot of students, they want to look at how far is the country that I'm going to. Parents are more comfortable for undergrad students to be closer to home where they can travel easily, and vice versa. For every semester break, the student can come back easy. Today, if you're going to a country like US or New Zealand, which are long 18, 20-hour flights and expensive flights, the student will not be able to travel as frequently, and the parents will not be able to visit as frequently. Right? So distance from the home country also needs to be looked at. For undergrad, as a thumb rule, we recommend countries which are closer, and for postgrad, then obviously the students can go much further down.
Right. So this is again, I think, an important step. If we know the right country, then we can now move to the part about that dream university.
Definitely, I think choosing the right country is the first step. A lot of students do it the other way around. Yeah, they will pick 2-3 universities from UK, 2-3 universities from Europe, 2-3 from US, and they'll say, I want to apply for multiple places. Not the right approach, because every country has different processes. The application requirements are different. The financial requirements are different, right? And if you're not focused on choosing the right country, your chances of failure are much higher. Also, as a consultant or as a counselor, if you're approaching me and you're saying that, oh, I want to apply for 4 countries, I will feel you're a confused student. You're not focused enough. You're not clear on what you want to do. Even the universities will feel that, right? So it's far better to focus on one or at best 2 countries and then start the process of applying for universities and shortlisting universities.
Okay. Chetan, I think we've reached the most crucial segment in today's episode, which is university selection and what role it plays in the shortlisting process.
Right.
So could you shed a little light on that?
Sure. So I think once the student has figured out what country, what course, the last and the most important aspect is choosing the right university. So many a times what students do is that because there are so many universities that are available in every country, so a country like UK has 150 plus universities, a country like US has 1000 plus universities, they tend to apply all over the place, right? But I think narrowing down your university choice is very important because that keeps your application more focused. As counselors, we also are more focused in putting in more efforts for those shortlisted universities, and I think the chances of success are a lot better. So the first thing the student needs to do is narrow down to maybe at best 5 to 8 universities that they should be applying for.
Just those many?
Yeah, that's more than enough because if you can't decide between those 5 to 8, how will you make the final choice, right? And between those 5 to 8, you would keep some as ambitious choices, some as safe choices. So you're sure that you'll get at least 4 to 5 offers from those 7, 8 universities that you apply for.
Okay.
For most students, we actually even apply for only 5 universities, right? Because the more focused it is, the better are the chances. And at the same time, the efforts can be more focused on fewer universities than a wider range of universities, plus the expenses are lower.
Yes.
So you're spending less on the application fees, you're spending less on the entire process as well.
And I think the common logic would be to always go after universities that have great rankings. Do you think that's good or bad? I don't know.
Let me give you an example. Have you recently bought a car?
Yes.
Right. So when you're buying a car, what are the typical things you would look at?
I think first of all, what type of car you want for your family or whatever, and then you would look at your budget or what is available in the market, and then keep narrowing down from there.
Right. So would you buy a car only on the basis of the price, on the car type, the color, and the brand? No, you look at least 15 to 20 factors like the fuel efficiency of the car, the safety features of the car, what's the resale value of the car.
Right.
Right. So when you're buying a car and looking at 20 factors and maybe taking 5 or 6 test drives of different cars,
Yes.
when you're choosing a university, it's a life-changing thing. It's one of the biggest steps you're going to take. So why only choose universities on rankings, right? So the common mistake that most students make is that they will evaluate only 4 to 5 factors like the university ranking, the location of the university, the availability of scholarships, and budget, and maybe eligibility, right? But there are 35 plus factors that a student should ideally look at while shortlisting the right university. So obviously they can look at a broader shortlist of about 20-25 universities, but considering these 30-35 plus factors, they should narrow down their choices to maybe 5 to 8 universities.
Could you let us know at least a few more of these factors? I know 35 is a lot to cover.
Yeah, I think we need a separate episode for that, right? So firstly, the academic factors, right? So how good is the course? What is the department strength of that university as far as that course is concerned? Do they have the right infrastructure, the right facilities to facilitate that program? So if you're going, say, for an aerospace engineering course, right? Does the university have the right lab facilities to do justice to that program?
Right.
So I'll give you an example of a university I recently placed a student to. It's called Cranfield University. It's actually on an airbase. Right, so it's one of the best places to study aerospace engineering because they have the subject matter expertise and the kind of knowledge, the kind of faculty to support that program. We also spoke about accreditations in the past. So see if that particular university is offering those kind of professional accreditations or not. What variety of courses are they offering? Right. So firstly, you should be looking at the academic factors. Then come in the location factors. I think location is one of the most important factors which students tend to ignore. Right. So are you in a good location? Today, if you study in Pune versus study in Kolhapur, even if the university you're studying in Kolhapur is better than where you're studying in Pune, the exposure levels that you'll have in a city like Pune cannot compare to a city like Kolhapur or a small town like Kolhapur. So even abroad, a city is a city and a town is a town. The exposure levels of a city will be far superior to a town. So always look at especially for postgrad courses, look at bigger cities, tier 1 cities, or look at universities which are located close to a big city.
Okay.
Because in the location, you also want to look at, are they close enough to the job markets? What is the availability of part-time jobs in that region? Because if you're not able to get a part-time job, these are expensive countries.
Yes.
So sustaining becomes a big challenge, right? Is Indian food easily available in that location, right? What kind of cultural experiences you can have there? Does the city have a lot to offer, or it's a small quiet town which goes to sleep at 6 in the evening?
Yes.
Right. So location is a very important factor. Then picking up on the same fact of cultural experiences, social experiences, what kind of exposure can you have there in that location, right? Like, for example, I have a lot of students who want to go to big cities like London because of the social experiences they can have. They can attend Wimbledon, they can go for cricket matches, they can
Yes.
go for big food events, they can go for music festivals,
And it's a
concerts.
cultural explosion. People from all over the world are there. So
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
diversity is another factor you want to look at. Does that country or that city that you're going to, does it have a diverse set of population? Like a city like London, again, for example, the 2/3 of the population is non-British. Only 1/3 is British. So it's a melting pot of culture,
Yes.
right? So the cult of diversity you'll have, the kind of exposure you'll have, right from different languages to people coming from different walks of life to the food, right? You can taste all sorts of food there. So cultural diversity also is another aspect you want to look at. Does the university offer that? There are a lot of universities which are very focused towards domestic students.
Right.
So today, if you are the only international student and there are 50 domestic students, you're not going to survive. You want other international students where you can have good peer-to-peer interaction.
Yes.
So look at the ratio of the percentage of international students. Normally, the universities will publish that.
Yes.
That we have 10% of our students which are international students from 100 plus countries. So look at the diversity as well.
Okay, and what about livability? The kind of facilities in the university, or would that also play a role?
So I personally believe that the campus life that the university can provide is very important, because studying in a foreign country is not only about academics. It's also about the time you spend outside of your classroom.
Yes.
Right. So what kind of sporting facilities do they have? Do they have societies and different opportunities for conducting extracurricular activities? So, today in a university, you could be part of the dance club, you could be a part of the singing club. So that itself is an experience,
Yes.
right? Plus, do they have a gym? Do they have a massive library? Do they have the lab infrastructure, sporting facilities, right? So the overall infrastructure of the campus, the bigger, the better opportunities you'll have, right? And again, a lot of these universities, because they're government funded, there's a lot of funding that they receive. So they keep upgrading their infrastructure. Second is the social life as a student that you're going to have there. So do they have enough things or initiative they're taking for enhancing the student life and the student experience also? Also, what kind of support they have for international students, right? Please note that some of these kids who travel, they're stepping out of their country for the first time. So they can go through a lot of cultural shocks.
Yes.
Right? So do they have the right infrastructure and the support system to support international students? Are their faculty tuned to handle international students? Right? As simple as something like calling someone a sir is not appropriate, right? So today if I call a faculty sir, he'll be like, I'm not sir, I'm not knighted yet. Don't call me sir. Right? That's a simple cultural difference between our education and there.
Yes.
So is the university able to counsel the students? Do they have an international office which is guiding the students to kind of
Assimilate.
acclimatize and kind of fit in there as well? So that's also important.
Yeah. I think there are so many factors here that need to be considered when choosing the right university. Any closing advice that you want to give students who are in the process of shortlisting?
So I think evaluate the universities on multiple factors and do not only rely on doing your research via university websites, right? Most universities are going to talk great things about themselves on their website, right? This is where you can gain insight by interacting with different alumni. So speak to a lot of alumni from different universities to gain insight. Today you have Facebook groups where you can connect with alumni. You have LinkedIn. where you can connect with alumni. So there are various platforms you can use to connect to alumni. Second, attend a lot of events, right? So fortunately, India is a huge market for a lot of these universities. So they come very frequently to participate in education fairs, where you could walk into an education fair and meet 40, 50 universities that are participating there. So interact with their representatives, get more insight about the university, right? So again, that will help you kind of do your research a little more and kind of get closer to your decision on what is the right university for you. Lastly, take up a lot of independent research, on your own. So whether it is talking to relatives who are living there, I have some students who have actually traveled.
Okay.
Right, so they actually visit like places like Dubai, UK are not that far, and today these students come from decent money, so they have the ability where they're doing one international vacation a year any which ways. So why not do an international vacation in a place which you want to
With
go
your
study to
objective.
with your parents, and then go visit those 4 or 5 universities where you can have a campus tour, you can speak to students there. So even taking up that kind of level of research, because you're making a huge investment, so even that's absolutely fine to visit them physically and figure out whether they're the right universities for you or not.
Okay. So I would like to just quickly summarize this episode because there's a lot of information there. I think there are 3 important steps in shortlisting. Number 1 is what course you want to do. Number 2 is the country you want to study in. And last and the most crucial one, what university are you looking for? So these 3 steps are going to help you shape your career, and it's a lot of information, it's a lot of work. So I would recommend that you get in touch with our experts at Study Smart who can help you in every step of shortlisting. Chetan, I think this was a super helpful episode for the students as well as their parents. Thank you once again for being on The Big Leap.
Yeah, I think Apoorva, I spoke a lot because I'm already feeling very exhausted. So I'm glad it's kind of ending.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm always happy to be here.
Yes. To all of our viewers, I would like to say that like, share, subscribe, and send it across to all your friends who are in the process of this shortlisting. And we'll be back with many more exciting episodes.